Hey everybody, Chris Americos here, and welcome to another episode of Russian for Mom. That's right. This is a video where I'm going to explain something about basic Russian or Russian for beginners. And I'm going to try to make it really easy to understand. And it's part of a series of videos called Russian for Mom, where I'm helping my mom learn Russian and making these videos to help her do that. And anyone else who gets the benefit from that, well, that's a great side benefit as well, right? So in this video, we're going to be focusing on how some letters or how some sounds are different from what they look. So usually in Russian, everything is very phonetic, right? Usually what you see is what you get. When you see a letter, it usually has the same pronunciation. But there are some differences, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's jump right in. Now, the first thing that we want to talk about today is differences in pronunciation between stressed vowels and unstressed vowels. And if you're not sure what that means, then every word has a stress. First of all, when we have a word that has more than one syllable, the stress becomes very important for pronunciation, right? For example, the word important. Here, the stress is on the second syllable. There are three syllables, right? Important. Important. So we might also break that into different ways of pronouncing it, right? So we might say important, important, and we could break it down like that. But there are three syllables, and only one syllable has a stress. It's the second syllable, right? Important. If we change the stress and put it on a different syllable, then it will be harder for us to understand what someone wants to say because it won't sound right. If someone says important, then it sounds different. And we might think maybe that was a different word. Maybe they're just making a mistake, right? Or if we said important, then this would be a lot different too. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about stress. In English, if we change the stress on the vowel sounds in the word, then the vowels will also change their sound. So, for example, in the word America, when we have the letter A in an unstressed position in a word, in many situations it sounds like above or around, right? So in other situations where this letter is stressed, it doesn't sound like it sounds like or right? So there are different sounds when it's stressed and unstressed. Let's look at how this works in Russian. So changing vowel sounds. First of all, the vowel O, which in Russian is usually pronounced O. This changes, right? It's usually O, but when it's in an unstressed position, when it's unstressed in the word, it sounds like like in this word, молоко. Молоко. I'm going to write the stress for you. Молоко. So the stressed version of this vowel is O, right? But the unstressed is Молоко. Another example, хорошо. Хорошо. So this is a difference in pronunciation. Now, you might be thinking right now, well, maybe different types of Russian or dialects or accents sound different, right? Maybe that could be the case. Yes and no. So the difference between how someone pronounces O, when they pronounce it like O and is also a sign in Russia of people who live in Moscow or don't live in Moscow. So people who live closer to the center of Russian civilization. If someone says with a long then in Russian they have a special saying about this, and this usually means that this person is from Moscow or near Moscow. And so if they say a lot, like хорошо, then this might be closer to this. My accent, of course, sounds Japanese. But хорошо, it's important that we say o, just like молоко, o, right? Then we also have some other examples here. For example, galava. So here it sounds like there's three ahs, right? There's galava. And at the end, here's the stress, galava. Now, this last example I'm giving you is just to show you what O unstressed sounds like at the beginning of the word. And this one is arol. And this word means eagle. I didn't tell you what the other words meant, but galava is head, хорошо means fine or good, and молоко means milk. And arol is eagle. Now, anytime that we have the yo letter, then this means that that's where the stress is. And even in this word with o at the beginning, it doesn't sound like o, it sounds like arol, right? Great. So now let's go to the next. This is, when is the letter ya pronounced differently? Usually it sounds like ya, right? Two sounds. Y, ya. But when it's unstressed, it might sound like e or ye. Let me show you. And this is a short e, not a long e, right? So, for example, we have the word yazik, yazik. And here the stress is on u, yazik. Okay? Another example is обязательно, 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 right? Here the stress is on a, and at the beginning of the word, and at the end of the word, it's a, but we write o, right? Обязательно. Next, we have впрямую, впрямую, right? And so here again, because it's not stressed, ya does not sound like ya. It's not впрямую, right? It's впрямую. So here it's something like a e, a short e, or a yi. And the last example is память, which means memory. Память, memory. Впрямую, it means like directly or in the direct meaning. Обязательно means it's required or we will absolutely do this thing. And язык means language. So these are some ways that Russian sounds a little different than how it's written. And it's important to remember these when we start to speak Russian ourselves and when we start listening to Russian speakers. Because it can be confusing when you hear an ah sound, but you see an o. Or if you hear an e sound and you see a ya, right? This can be a little confusing. So I hope this clears a little bit of that up for you. But now let's look at another way that the written language is different from the spoken language, and that's with blending. So blending is when we have two or maybe more words and we put them together in a special way that changes their sound. So for example, usually if we looked at this combination right here, then we would want to say something like sa, and then the second word, ta boy, right? And what does this mean? These two words together, what does this mean? This means with you, with you. So this is an important phrase to know. In fact, I've given you three phrases here: with you, with me, and with you all. So this is just you, one person, right? But when we pronounce this, we shouldn't say it as two separate words. Instead, we should combine these sounds, and this is called blending. Let me show you. So instead of sa, ta boy, it's sta boy, sta boy, like this, sta boy, with the stress on the last syllable. So we've combined these two words together and we've made it sound like something completely different, but this is how people always say this combination. They always say sta boy and they never say s ta boy. So we need to learn it like this, right? This is the correct pronunciation of this phrase, this combination of words. So another example here, it's sa mной, sa mной. Now, there's no difference between s and s with o here. They're the same word, they both mean with. The difference is what follows it. We don't have a consonant cluster here or here, so we don't need to do that there. So, sa mной, Sam mной. And then the last example, s vami. S vami. And here the stress is on the first syllable, right? S vami. So this first sound just blends together with the next word. And it makes it sound like they're combined. But when we see them in writing, we can see that that's different. So I hope that today's lesson helps clear up some misunderstandings or things that haven't been clear so far between how things are written and how things are pronounced in the Russian language. Remember, this has been another video in our series called Russian for Mom, and if you like this series, then go down below this video, leave a comment, let us know that we're doing a good job, click like, click subscribe, and you can also come over to our website because we have lots of resources and tools, including downloads that you can download, that you can use on our website. And so the link is below this video. I look forward to seeing you again in our next episode. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.